Father, we come before you this afternoon to give thanks for allowing us to see this glorious day. This day which brings the culmination of all our hopes and dreams. We thank you for planting in all of us, and especially our graduates, the seeds of struggle, which will bring about a future full of promise, success, and happiness. We pray that you will continue to shine your grace upon us and bless us during this ceremony with your presence. In Jesus' name we ask this. Amen.
Amen.
Bargan. You may be seated. This time we'll have the pouring of libations.
I request permission from my elder to do this. Sign this sign.
Of course, you all know that we pour libation for the purpose of calling forth the spirits of our ancestors to come and join us, to consecrate our proceedings, and to make it correct. So, we begin with the idea or the notion of that which facilitates all that is, which cannot be described, which is inconceivable, unconscionable, and therefore has no characteristics. As it makes itself known, it does so in duality, male and female. To that aspect of our knowledge, we say Ashe. Ashe. Over 1 million years ago, our ancestors set forth to populate the world and establish all of the accoutrements of civilization, of family life, of culture, of knowledge. They began systems of mapping the universe, of studying nature and our relationship to nature. Through those ancestors, the first university was established under Zosa by the great Imhotep. We say, Ashe. Ashe. We call forth all the great teachers and educators who helped us maintain our knowledge and our society throughout history, who are too numerous to mention. Those who established the first universities, those who established the great lodge at Luxor, at Ipet Isut, at Waset, to all the temples of knowledge and repositories of learning, to those ancestors that set up those systems, we say Ashe. Ashe. As we came through time and through space and continued our culture, we came across the desert and established one of the greatest universities that ever existed in Timbuktu, the University of Sankore, with the headmaster Ahmed Baba. To that master teacher, we say Ashe. Ashe. To all those scholars that came into Europe and established the university at Salamanca in Spain, our ancestors, the Moors, who taught Europe to take a common bath. To those ancestors, we say Ashe. Ashe. To those ancestors that came across the great divide and established our cultural ways through slavery, maintained our ways when it was illegal for us to even know how to read. Those ancestors who sacrificed their lives to educate our people, we say Ashe. Ashe. To those great educators like Booker T. Washington, like W.E.B. DuBois, like Nanny Ellen Burroughs, Daisy Bates, Benjamin Mays. To those great ancestors and educators who set up schools like Mary McLeod Bethune, who started with very little resources and set up a great university with Bethune-Cookman. We say Ashe. Ashe. To those ancestors who have passed through the Shule, Baba Rashidi, Mama Kashi, we say Ashe. Ashe. And to those spirits that are yet unborn, that we leave the legacy of this great institution to, those who are coming forth to liberate us from our condition. We say, Ashe.
Ashe.
And finally, we hope that none of our ancestors see fit to take us with them after we have been done with our proceedings. We say, Ashe.
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 Thank you.
Would you please stand and join me for the singing of Lift Every Voice and Sing? We are going to sing the first verse. Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Wandada, Angelier.
Wandugu, Wagale. Yes, sir.
I'm Zany. We are an African people. We remember the humanity, glory, and sufferings of our ancestors, and honor the struggle of our elders. We will strive to bring new guidance and new life to our people. We will have peace and harmony among us. We will be loving, sharing, and creative. We will work, study, and listen so we may learn. Learn so we may teach. We will cultivate self-reliance. We will struggle to resurrect and unify our homeland. We will raise many children for our nation. We will have discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will live as models to provide a new direction for our people. We will be free and self-determining. We are an African people. Together, we will win.
Asante sana, you may be seated. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our Division Director for the DuBois Preparatory Academy, who's going to be our MC for the evening. Please welcome Baba Mwanda Chapman.
Before I begin, I would like to ask my elders for permission to speak. A lot of times when we start, when I talk to my students, they act like I'm older than anybody. I think the other night when at prom, I was dancing. I felt real good at prom. I had a good time. I had maybe a better time than some of them did. I had a good time. And they was looking at me when I was dancing. It was like, you mean they had dancing back in your day? Dancing been around. When I was asked to do this, and I know I'm not supposed to be doing speeches, so I'm going to take a few minutes. When I was asked to do this, I said, man, why is Mommy Money asking me to be the MC? And I still don't know, but I love our people. And that's what we try to instill in our children, to love our people. And through the struggles and through all the crying and heartaches and sometimes fussing at each other, all of our children leave us with a better understanding than they came to us with, and a love for our people, because we can see by the things that they're doing after they leave us. Even the ones that are defiant leave us and they do good things for our people because they have been touched by people that really, really care about them. Okay? And I know that it's working because almost out of every single class, by the time we finish with them, pushing them, dragging them along, some of them every year say, I'm so glad I'm out of here and y'all ain't gonna see me no more. The next 2 weeks, they're back. They go away to school, they're calling us saying things like, I'm glad you all really prepared us well. I feel prepared. I feel like I can compete. And they're going to colleges all over the country. And actually all over the world, because we have students that are going to schools in other countries also. We had one graduate named Laurent who went away to school. Next thing I know, he came back and I said, Laurent, what is your major? He said, well, I'm majoring in, I think, international business, but his minor is Chinese. And I said, Chinese? What made you pick Chinese? He said, well, I didn't know anything about it, so I thought that I could learn it so that when I go to China, I'll be able to speak Chinese. And I said, are you writing it also? He said, yeah, well, some of the dialects, you know, they got a lot of different ones. He said, some of the Chinese can't write it, but he said, I'm learning that also. So we have students that are doing things, that are doing great things, that are graduating from this little school, that are going all over the world, representing us.
That's right. Say that.
Representing. They're going all over the world representing. In this class that we have here, each class has their own personality. This class has a personality also. They learned a lot. We have some brilliant people in this class. Brilliant people that are going to really represent us well in college and beyond. But they fussed all the way through with each other. In high school, from the ninth grade, not just the ninth grade, the 8th grade, 7th grade, some of them, all the way through with each other, and then love each other to death. They'll do anything with each other, but it's like the brother and sister that can't stand to be with each other, but can't stand to be without each other. That's the way this class was all the way through. And I think they're coming out of this really loving each other, really caring about each other. So I really feel good about that this class is coming out really loving each other. See, all right. I would like to introduce this next person, brilliant person. She's going to do great things for our people. And she struggled all the way. Give her a task, and when you give her a task, you better get out the way because she's going to make sure it gets done. If she has to drag you with her. She's very persistent in her actions, very persistent in helping people. Even though sometimes people might not want the help she's giving, but she's going to give help anyway because it's the right thing to do. And she struggled all the way, and it was a battle to the finish. Would like to introduce our salutatorian, Maya Bledsoe.
Permission from my elders to speak. Greetings.
Greetings.
I would like to
say, Taifa and Mpya, we made it. And I'm proud of our struggle and our power to complete our task. We did it. Congratulations. I love all of you. We are all like brothers and sisters, and we had a hard struggle in the beginning, but we made it through. My name is Maya Blesso, and I am the salutatorian of the class of 2002. And I would like to greet Mama Nimoy, Mama Imani, other esteemed elders, board of directors, podium guests, faculty, parents, friends. Welcome to W.E.B. DuBois Preparatory Academy 7th commencement exercise. I want to speak real quick a story. I want to say a story real quick. I've always wanted to congratulate Mama Easter for raising such a magnificent child, Baba Rashid. He will always say to me if I was ever in the hallway, "Good morning, Mama Blesso. Why are you in the hallway?" And I would laugh because he already knew the answer. Get in trouble in Mama T's last class. I would tell him, Mama Titi Lyle put me out for laughing because I couldn't control it. And he would happily ask Mama Titi Lyle if he could talk to me in his classroom. He would just explain to me the importance of learning and how it was disrespectful to disrupt class. And how Mama Titi Lyle was probably tired of, getting tired of putting me out of first class every day. After Baba Rashid became an ancestor, I missed his good mornings, his beautiful smile. And it changed my life, and I began doing better in school and being more focused and persistent in everything that I did. The seniors of W.E.B. DuBois Preparatory Academy will embark on their new phase of life and will become alumni of Aisha Chalet. Because our learning never stops. I would like to thank Michelle, Desiree, and Kaya for our experience together. I love you. I had a poem, but I left it at home. I just wanted to say to Michelle Russell, I thank you for being my best friend, and I thank you for always being there for me and always listening to whatever I had to say, even if I was fussing. She just, it's going to be okay. I thank Kaya for her wisdom. She never had anything negative to say. It was always positive. And she always tried to help the Taifa and Mpya along every single day. She always had some big words for us. And I wanted to thank Desiree because every day she had so much energy and she always lifted our spirits when we were in my mind in my class. We always have fun. We love you, Mama. But I thank Desiree. We had a lot of fun. She got the Taifa and Mpya through all the hard times. Moved here. Was always acting in class, quoting Shakespeare, everything. Malcolm was always getting A's on his test without studying. Never knew how he did it. Anyo, she just gave us a lot of joy. She always had something positive to say. Chris Wade, we had a lot of fun with you. We teased you, but it was fun. We had a lot of fun. Chris Wade had a gift, or he has a gift, and it's through drawing, and he knows how to draw anything. Like for Black Love Day, we didn't have anything. He took a sheet and got some spray paint, made a heart, and it said Black Love Day, and everybody was like, "Whoa, where y'all get that from?" Chris Wade has a lot of talent. Hassan, we argued all year long. That's what Bob Mwanda was talking about. But when Hassan wasn't here, I was trying to make sure he was here to get his homework, or I was just looking after everybody to make sure that we got the right journey together. I want to thank the family and friends and teachers for sharing this important celebration with me. Asante.
next person that I would like to introduce has helped me out a lot. I know when I first came to Aisha Shule, I was a teacher, but I wasn't really a teacher. And now that I look back at that, I know now what was missing. And one thing, I talk too much. That was one thing, that I talk too much. And that was because I thought I knew a whole lot. And I mean, I do know some things, I do know some stuff. But when I started talking to Mommy Monty and saw how humble she was and how much she knows, it made me understand that I just have to keep studying. And sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. And sometimes it's best just to be quiet. And that's one thing that I will never, ever forget that I learned from her, is how to just be quiet. And since I learned how to be quiet, now I can reflect on what others are saying, and now I'm learning even more. So after I came to Aisha Shule, then the world began to unfold in a different way. I can look at people and say now actually that I have no fear of anything. So why always keep certain things on your mind if you don't fear it? You don't have any fear of it, you don't have to think about it all the time. This is something else that I learned from Mommy Monty. And I'm not going to take a lot of time. The director, one of the founders, co-founders of Aisha Shule, we'll have remarks from Mama Imani Hall.
Especially the parents of the graduates, please stand where you are. We'd like to let you know. Partners for several years, and you have done a wonderful job. The parents have taken on a lot of responsibility. They help raise money. They put the prom together. They regulated the prom room. They organized several events, and they have just been right there. And it's so wonderful because a lot of parents think once their children get into high school, that's it. You don't have to see what they're wearing anymore. You don't have to determine whether they have breakfast anymore, whether they pack their lunch, or whether their uniform is ready or their clothes. But that's not true. You need to follow them all the way through. And as they go to college, you know that they will be calling you, they will be asking for money, they will be asking for advice. It's okay though, because human beings take a long time to grow up. They are not out of the nest like other creatures are. To the class of 2002, I know you want to get out of here, you want the real thing to happen, and there's speeches and speeches, but they're going to be short, and this one I promise you is going to be short. Somebody asked me once, and said, how do you pronounce Dr. DuBois' name? He was asked, I read once, and he said, the correct pronunciation is DuBois, but he preferred DuBois because he didn't want to appear pretentious. And so I say DuBois, but DuBois certainly is correct. And he said either, but for himself. He did not want to appear pretentious. And that's a lesson that we try to promote. Not to appear pretentious, but to be solid in what you know and who you are. And so I say to you, congratulations. I speak on behalf of the faculty and your parents in wishing you the best. You're about to commence a new level of life as a fresh young adult who has successfully completed a very important task. This is also rites of passage for young people. As they come out of one level of learning and go on to higher learning. Use this success to approach the next stage of demands, responsibilities, and choices. As you reflect on all that you've learned during your school days, those lessons will begin might to fall into good stead, making sense and becoming applicable in so many ways. At Aisha Shule DuBois, we say that education is the gateway to liberation. What this means is that the better educated a person is, the greater the possibilities of self-determination become. You don't let anybody turn you around. You don't let anybody denigrate you. You don't let anybody stop you from what you know that you must do. Self-determination. The better educated a person is, the broader an understanding he or she has about options and opportunities. You don't take the first thing that comes along. You really think about it. Education, the gateway to liberation, opens your mind up to many cultures, all aspects of your own, and then to meet others. You'll meet many people as you go through. It opens up your mind to conflict resolution. You don't have to punch before you negotiate the thing. It opens the mind to creative problem solving and to an enhanced quality of life for self and one's people. Race first. A lifelong love for learning is the key to that gateway. Can't get through if you don't want to continue to learn. This desire to learn is what we hope we have instilled in you, more than anything. Some learning will take place in the formal settings of institutions of higher learning, some from your family, some from your work and social experiences, some from very young children, some of your own children you'll learn a lot from, and some from the spiritual path that you choose. Some from the spiritual path that you choose. You can't do this by yourself. But our most powerful learning comes from the study and reflection on the lives, works, and examples of our elders and ancestors. Never forget them. Never put the books down. Never stop studying about them. A phonetic proverb that we use at the prep school admonishes us to follow in the footsteps of the ancestors and learn from them, for the mind is trained through knowledge. You don't want to have an empty head. You don't want to be so vulnerable that you can be hustled all the time. Your mind has to be trained through knowledge. You have to study. Therefore, we say to you, read, study, and watch, plan, and teach. Liberation is a collective endeavor. No one person is going to liberate us. No one person ever has. It's a collective endeavor. It has leadership sometimes. But your task is to find others who understand that freedom is your legacy. Freedom is your legacy. So you're stepping out, my dears, into a very troubled world. We're living under the threat of a different kind of terrorism. Africans in America have always been terrorized. From the kidnapping, the crossing, the Great Ma'apa, terror all the way. Through the enslavement, post-enslavement, and even up to today. But there's another terrorism that looms over this country that you will have to contend with. So you are stepping out into a troubled world, but maintain your peace. That's one of the last things I want to tell you. Take your journey seriously. For you have a huge responsibility. You are our hope. You are our hope. You are the example for the students who come behind you. Those of you who are out in the audience, alumni, would you stand, please? We have alumni here, please stand. generation. But you are part of this network now. So be strong, work for peace in whatever situation you find yourself, and continue to learn. Continue toward the gateway of liberation. Free yourself, free your mind, so that you can have a life of freedom and service. We will watch your development. We will continue to support you. We will always stand with you on your quest. And so we say, may the peace, power, and blessings of the ancestors be with you. I'm very proud of you and love you. Peace.
Now, I was reminded that
It's the other mic.
the chairman of our board is usually around all the time. The chairman of our board is Jeff Edison, and he's not here tonight because he is on the continent of Africa. He's in Ghana right now. So we send our prayers with him, hope that he speedily return back to us safely. But the reason why he's not here is because he's on the continent. This next person that I would like to introduce is cool all the way to the end. We had a conversation one day, and our students sometimes, this is one of the things that they hate to hear sometimes when we tell them that when you go out in public, you are not just representing yourself, you're representing your family.
No, that's right.
And you're representing the whole community. And so you got to carry yourself in a certain way. Now, a lot of our students feel that that's a big responsibility, and it is. It's a lot to put on a young person. But see, our young people, we're preparing them for a hard world. A lot of hard stuff is going to be on them from this moment on. If you didn't want a lot of hard stuff to be on, you should have went somewhere else.
Right.
Really. Go somewhere else where they play. We try not to play, we play around, but not too much. Because we know if the world is going to change, we're the ones that's going to change it. Okay? This person, he fought this, he fought against it. And he still wanted to play around. But then one day he came back and he told me, he said, now I understand what y'all were talking about. And not only did he say it, you could see it in his actions. Where the things that he was doing, he began to do things the way that he would make not only himself but his family proud of him. And he pulled himself together and he pushed himself up. And he is going to be a top scholar in the world because the brother has the mind, the brain for it, and he has the demeanor to carry himself to be a top scholar, a top, whatever he wants to do, he'll be tops in it. So the next person, a special student reflection from Muntasir McClellan.
Not yet, not yet.
I have fought a long journey in my lifetime, and first off, I have to say thanks to my grandma who's no longer with me. Mama DuBois, she rest in peace. She can't see her baby boy graduate, but it's all right. Before I came to the Shule, came back to the Shule, when my mom told me I had to go there, at first I was like, nah, I'm straight, man. I want to go somewhere else. Do something else. She said, no, I feel this school will be right for you in your situation and how you are dealing with life right now. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take the step. So when I first came there, I played all day, every day. I didn't really like school too much. I just played. But when a situation happened in my life during high school, and I went down the wrong path and made the wrong decision, and was faced with serious charges and whatnot, all that. I saw Bobby Joe at the festival, and I told him my situation, and he was like, well, you can do it because you're a stand-up guy, and you have a strong mind and strong will. So I thank Bobby Joe and Bobby Wanda being there, because at that time, I needed a strong, positive male role model in my life, and the Shule and my family provided that for me. So I thank the Shule for that. And I'm proud to graduate from W.E.B DuBois Preparatory Academy, because if it wasn't for them, I might not be walking across the stage right now. So thank you. God bless you.
I told myself I wasn't going to cry. And I'm going to try not to, but when you see people grow up, and not just grow up, you know, because we see a lot of people that get older, but they never turn into the men and women that we know they can be. But when we see our children grow up and we know that they're going to be the men and women that we know they can be, it's a proud moment. It's a proud moment. And when I look here at these young people, not one of them that I see here that I think would not make us proud. Now we're going to have the singing of Sisi Watu, and we have Mama Hasina to come up and lead us in the singing.
Like everybody stand, please, we can stretch our legs. And we sing this song to remind us of who we are. And I'm going to put some of my fellow Walimu on the spot, ask them to come and sing with me. Mama Tisha Lyle, Mama Samara, would y'all come up and sing with me, please? We want everybody to sing. The words are very simple. It says, Sisi Watu Weusi, Watu Wazuri, Amoja Tutashinda. We are black, beautiful people. Together we will win. Together we will win. Sisi Watu
Amoja tutashinda.
speaker, I would like to give thanks to some very special people that I see a few of them here. And they are the ones that laid the foundation for the ones that are coming after. I would like to give thanks to our members of our Elders Council that I see here. I'd like to give them a round of applause. And Detroit has an Elders Council that's active. They do things. They're putting things together in our community. So it would behoove all of us to get to know them because they've been around struggling a long time and they're doing a lot of good things for us. This next person, I've been knowing her all her life. And I think, well, I know. I knew her, she didn't really know me. Because I knew her big sister when she was a little baby too. And I see she's up there smiling, she's happy for her sister. And you meet very few times in your life when you are a teacher where you have a student that's pushing you. And this is one of those kind of people that she asks questions that make you go and look them up, look things up, you know, and always on top of things. And if she's not on top of it, she'll say, well, Baba, this is the reason why, and I'll have it to you at this time. Whatever it is, you can look for it. Okay? That's a dependable person. And since I've known her, she's always looked out for others, especially younger people, her brothers and sisters, older sisters, her mama. Everybody that comes into contact with her, she looks out for them. And I would like to, I knew she was going to do this all the way from the beginning. I'd like to introduce the valedictorian of our senior class 2002, Kaya Karamoka.
Family, friends, alumni, and other members of the community, I speak to you on behalf of the class of 2002 W.E.B. DuBois Preparatory Academy. My classmates and I are very happy that it's finally over. Yes, you have prepared us so well that we are ready and able to jump out into the world. You have taught us that it's important to participate and think as a group, and to be aware of each other's wants and expectations. That is why we have blossomed into such beautiful young adults. On behalf of Taifa and Mpya 2002, I would like to thank you. You have taught us to always try our best at all that we do. You have continuously expressed that we are all scholars, but nothing is counted without work. And as a result of those words, I have undying faith in myself, my classmates, and of course my people. Growing up in the Shule, you never feel left out or alone. Not because the school's brochure says family-oriented environment, but because the teachers are truly mamas and babas. I would never have learned what I have learned at any other school. It's beyond academics. I remember the first day I came to the Shule, and I felt embarrassed because I didn't have on uniform. And Alexander Robertson, my friend to this very day, told me that I'd be just fine, and I was. In other instances, it would be Baba Anthony, the greatest math teacher I've ever known, telling me, spread love, Karakamoko. Or Baba Joseph simply asked me, what's wrong? Walimu of the Shule has done so much for me, from buying me fruit during rites of passage fasting, or just taking me home, regardless of if they lived on the other side of the time. I will take your advice and apply it until the last days of my life, especially the definition of excuses. Mama Lynn
You taught me how to draw, and you always listen to me when I complain. Baba Mwandu, I thank you for being there because your presence at the shoe was very important and a must. Baba Anthony, you made learning so fun that I wait to hear class every day. Baba Joseph, I will cherish our many conversations, your advice, and your understanding. Mama Boniswa, I love you so much, and I appreciate your love, support, and wisdom. To my English teachers, Mama Sanji, Mama Ayuwa, and Mama Benuna, without your guidance and writing, I would truly be lost, and I thank you. Baba Kaida, I know I complained about the amount of work you gave me, and it's truly appreciated, and I know I'm ready for the real hard stuff. Baba Mzee, your in-depth insight on our history and culture gave me understanding, purpose, and strength to carry on. To my classmates, my brothers and sisters, Maya, Malcolm, Desiree, Wade, Anyo, Hassan, and Mutafir. It was a long fight, and we finally made it. Now I wouldn't pick anyone different to fight along my side. I love you all dearly and wish you much success in any aspect. Because of your friendship and compassion, because of our friendship and compassion for one another, we have truly grown from babies to almost grown and gone. As intelligent people we are, we must take our abilities and bring our people closer to liberation and create exceptional environments for our children to prosper in. Never forget where you come from, and know that I do love you. This goes for those who also left our circle as well. Nia, Alex, Doug, Dennis, Adonis, Antar, Jordan, Tia, Portia, Jelani, Lance, Kimela, and so on and so forth. To Zakia, you helped me so much, and I can never repay you. To my brothers and sisters, I love you so dearly. To my mommy, I can never repay you for all the things you have done for me, but I have wrote you a poem. From your womb, I know how it feels to be inside you. Your struggle is my power, and I'll always be 2 steps behind you. And may I remind you, for you, I will ferociously fight fire with fire because you ignite my desire to live. Without you, the gap between life and death would be very narrow. My guardian warrior, so perfect you are, my North Star, you guide me. I strive to be just like you, the creator of my breaths, and the pound within my chest. I'm all that you have made me and everything I will ever be. Your daughter, my mother. And to my Baba, you expanded my brain cells, you pushed me to learn beyond my subject. Because of you, I'm sure that I'll be able to handle anything any college gives me. I love you both and thank you. Bob Ibn, my godfather, I can truly never repay you. You have been with me from diapers to Nike gym shoes, and I enjoy our arguments, and I'm sure you'll be glad when I get my own money. To my other mamas and babas, thank you for tender love and care, for giving me a glimpse of African culture. I haven't yet seen it all. I'm truly a product of you. It is true that it takes a whole village to raise a child, and you have raised me well. To Brother Bernard, never lose focus, and don't be afraid to come to me because I will always be willing to help you. To the seniors of 2003, work as hard as you can to make sure you bounce it out with fun and don't let no one lead you astray. To Sankofa, may we stay connected and there for each other through the good times and bad times. Mama Hasina, thank you for the rites of passage. I enjoyed both being a DuBois sister and a Queen's Asian sister, as well as an Apollo sister. Mani Mani, thank you for creating such a wonderful school, and I love you so very much. And lastly, to my brother Sunyan, it's your time to shine. I'm Kaya Afia Najri Karamoko, the valedictorian of Class 2002 W.E.B. DuBois Preparatory Curriculum. I love you all, and South Carolina.
Self-love activism. He is the leader of the Black Bottom Collective, They opened for Stevie Wonder, Angie Stone, Common, Mos Def, Talib Kweli. He's a writer with United Way Community Services, Metro Times, The Source, XXL, Rap Pages. He's a semi-finalist in the 1999 National Poetry Slam. He's a graduate of Xavier University and a board member of the Detroit chapter of NAACP. He's married to Tanisha. And his favorite quote is, "I have no competition. My goal is to be better than me." Enough said, Brother Carly.
Good evening. Good evening. Good afternoon. I guess this time of day, I don't know whether to say afternoon or evening, so I'll just say both. Hope you get it right. I'm really humbled to be here. You brothers and sisters, you are beautiful. And this day is well deserved. I'm humbled that Mama Imani would even ask me to try and bring a word to you. I remember my high school graduation. Don't ask me when, it was a little while ago. But I remember my high school graduation, and I remember that the one thing I don't remember is the commencement speech. I couldn't tell you what it looked like, I couldn't tell you whether it was a man or a woman, I couldn't tell you what they were talking about, or where they were going with it, or how long they talked. And the reason was because they really didn't say anything that was worth me remembering. So I just hope that on behalf of you brothers and sisters, that I can say something that you'll take with you. I sit and talk to the sky, and I wonder if I could have a yard for every time I gave life a hard time. I'd probably have enough to travel to the moon, return, catch my breath, and drop a lesson for the seeds to learn. I had a share of the flare. I played cool. I got burned. I returned and healed and returned for more, bearing the sores, chalking it up to experience, but counting the joy and thanking the Lord for building up what he or she could have destroyed. I'm like Prince. I write these lyrics for the girls and boys. I need you in full control of your bodies and souls. I need you to learn to count the blessings in life when lessons unfold, and watch the pieces of your life fuse into a whole. I remember growing up. I remember the doubt. I remember feeling lost and trying to figure out what life is about. And I remember being black, discriminated against, wondering why, and watching crack disintegrate my community ties. It was like one day the community's trying, the next is dying. Struggling to stand pat while stabbing its own back, and me and my crew grew up in this madness. Trying to learn how to act. We could either react or proact. Go forward or throw crack, but know that the road you go down, you gotta go back. That's how God designed this. Seeking, you might find it. What your heart desires, whether water or fire, you can have. But each day in your life is a page and a chapter, so study well, and you'll learn just what you're chasing after. Glory and gain, or allegory and pain. Glory and gain, or allegory and pain. 1,000 stories a day are going to rain upon your main frame, but before they reach your heart, they're touching your brain. So think about it. I want to thank the staff at DuBois for having me here, and I want to thank the educators, the mamas and the babas who stuck and stayed with you through 4 years of education, through 4 years on your journey. Not just teaching you and educating you, but also making sure that you stayed out of trouble, making sure that you recovered from trouble when it was need be, making sure that you not only made the right decisions along the way, but also learned how to accept your mistakes and learn from them. That's part of life, y'all. And now you stand here, you stand on the cusp of a new day. And while we're thanking you for staying the course, we're thanking you for staying on the journey, we're also challenging you. Because now the world looks at you different. It's funny what one day can make, right? Think about it, because yesterday you were children. And see, we live in a world where one rule, one day, one moment can change everything. When you walk out of this room, the world is going to say, you walk out of here, men and women. And I love it because in our culture, we live life holistically. We don't always go straight A to B. Sometimes we go A to F to G, back to B, up to Y, down, over to Q, and then we come back to C. Because we learn the totality of life. We learn to appreciate the little pieces, the nuances that make life whole. But see, we live in a linear society. And the linear society says, no, you go from here to here. So you walked in this room, children, teenagers, adolescents. You walk out of this room, men and women. So your challenge is to be men and women. And you spent the last 4 years of your life accepting this challenge. Kind of experimenting with adulthood. Experimenting with being men and women. Learning the ropes, learning the folkways, the mores, and learning from those mistakes. In the class and out of the class. Now is your time to take these and put it into practical application. Now it's time to start living your life as young men and women and being aware of your world. That's your responsibility now, to be aware of the world around you. It's funny because some of you are going to places where 3 months from now you'll look around the room and you'll say, wow, I remember being in Detroit and everybody in the room was black folk. It ain't going to be that way all the time. That comfort zone is about to be lifted away from you. But praise God that you now have been given a foundation that's going to keep you strong enough to remember those times and let it strengthen you so that you can go places and you won't change. So that the way you talk now, you won't talk different when you go into a room full of folk who don't look like you. You don't think different when you go into a room full of folk who don't look like you, because you know that what you've been given is sufficient. What you've been given is enough to carry you through. Your faith is everything, and that is going to carry you throughout your life. Now, it's funny because I was told that graduation is a lot like a wedding. I was told this on my wedding day. Of course, I'm like, well, what you mean? Graduation is like a wedding day. Graduation is all celebration. Even now, you know, 1 or 2 or maybe all 80 are sitting there looking at me like, I wish this brother would get on with it. I got somewhere to go. I'm trying to be somewhere, you know, I'm glad you're here. You know, you're down and all, but hurry up. But at the same time, this is one day. When I got married, my pastor told me, this is the wedding. Tomorrow is the marriage. This is the graduation. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life, blah, 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 blah. Put it this way so we don't have to lean on cliches that none of us want to try to remember. The celebration will last you a day, today. The situation will last you a lifetime. Your celebration lasts today and your situation lasts a lifetime. So how will you define your situation? That's the question for the day for you. How will you define your situation from this day forward? Now that the hands are taken away, now that you're the leader and not the one being led, what decisions will you make? I remember being told that no matter where I go, there's always going to be somebody who wants to demean and degrade what you're about. No matter how much you think of yourself. Well, just last week I was watching television. There's this thing called subliminal seduction in advertising, where they put little things on the screen or put little things in the words. You're all familiar with this. You know, you go to an African-centered academy. This is part of your curriculum. Where they put little things on the screen to get you to think things about yourself that aren't true. So I'm watching a commercial for Aquafina water. Aquafina water. By the time the commercial was over, I'm writing letters. Because this commercial has a caricature of a brother. You know, bald head, dark glasses on, vest, bubble vest, y'all know. Fly. And this brother is saying, I come from nothing, and I know what nothing is, and so I want nothing in my water. And when people put nothing in my water, I can pinpoint it, and he goes on and on to talk about how he knows nothing because he comes from nothing. What kind of garbage is that?
Yeah. See?
That's some crap. That's a mess. And they're sitting up here telling everybody who looks like this brother, and I'm thinking, I remember when I used to rock shades and a bald head. I remember when I rocked dreads to my shoulders. What were they saying about me then? And I know what I've done with my life. But in a 30-second sound bite, they tried to take all of that and degrade it. That's the kind of world you're entering now, but you're also entering a world of beauty, a world of beautiful things. You're valedictorian. This sister said that you should not only learn to become the greatest students in the world, but you should also balance it with fun. That's probably one of the most important things you can do with your life. Because there's no use in struggling if you don't learn to balance it with the lighter side of life. Don't kill yourself trying to be free. Have fun with it. Enjoy your living. Enjoy the schooling. Enjoy the education. Enjoy the times. Enjoy the mistakes and the way you can learn from the mistakes. Enjoy becoming better you. That's what that quote meant. I wasn't saying that to diss anybody else. I put that in the book because I don't feel that there's a such thing as competition. Because as long as it's not a contact sport, if we ain't bumping and grinding in the paint, you can't handle what's going on in my head and all. That's up to me to change. That's up to me to build. So yeah, my only challenge is to be better than me. Your only challenge is to be better than you. The truth of the past cannot be changed. We have a past. People can reinterpret the past, but they can't change the absolute truth. It's absolute. It doesn't change. It is what it is. And it is all. That's not going to change, but the truth that is yet to be written is the truth that you're the author of. So how are you going to start writing your truth? Brothers and sisters, the pen is in your hand. And you are in control of the way that story is going to be told. This is your life. It's your story. Truth and lie. You ever heard that story? The truth and the lie went down by the wading hole and decided that they were going to take a swim. The truth had on clean clothes and the lie had on dirty clothes. And the lie was jealous of the truth. Now y'all stop me if you've heard it. Well, I'm going to keep going because your parents might not. They decided they were going to go swimming. You know, so it's a watering hole. They ain't on swim trunks. So, you know, they went skinny dipping. Truth and lie. Now something happened. Lie, he came out of the water first and he looked at this pile of dirty clothes that was his. Next to it, he looked to a pile of clean clothes that belonged to the truth. And he got this little thought in his head, and he said, nah, I couldn't do this. I could take his clothes and get away, and he wouldn't catch me. And the temptation got the best of the lie. So the lie took the clean pile, the nice, neat little pile of the clothes that belonged to the truth, and he slipped them on, and he ran. And just as he started to run away, Truth turned around and saw him running. And he was so mad, he came out and he took after the lie. And ever since that day, behind every dirty little lie, there's always been a naked truth. No matter what you do in your life, no matter what you do, no matter where you go, how you live, the truth is always going to follow you. So don't even wait for it to follow, just keep it with you. Just keep it absolute. Keep it with you. Know who you are. Know whose you are. Know what you come from and know where you're going. All right. Know that this is, children, this is a story of, I can't call you children no more. This is a story that God has already written. This script, that's what I believe. I believe that the script is written. We ain't nothing but actors. All you have to do is learn your lines. You already know the end of it. All you have to do is learn your lines, make it fun, make it exciting, overcome the struggles. And the world is yours. You can decide what your truth will be today. But you do have to learn your role. Be students forever. Even when you become a follower, even when there's nobody left to follow you, humble yourself before God and become a student of the evidence of things unseen and the substance of things hoped for. Never become so pompous that you become a leader only, because this world always has something new to show you. Whether it's about your people or whether it's other parts of the world. Look at the brother learning Chinese now. I couldn't read Chinese if it was tattooed on your arm. I couldn't tell you what it is. I admire that brother and I don't even know him. Study well. You'll learn just what you're going after. Glory and gain or allegory and pain. 1,000 stories a day rain upon your mainframe, but before they reach your heart, they're touching your brain. Think about it. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kari. Let's give him another hand. Just every year, Mommy Monty chooses a song that she wants to give as a gift to the senior class, the graduating class. And so we talk about music, we talk about things that we've heard. And one of the things that stood out for us about you all is that in spite of all the argument about Mwandu talked about and the playing and everything, that you all have a very strong sense of justice. That you all, I have known you always to stand on the side of justice, to stand on the side of right. And we are fortunate to have in our musical midst a very prolific, very powerful singer-songwriter. And her voice has a message for you about justice. We're having some technical difficulties. Mommy told me to come and tell you how to breathe. That your moment is almost here. Baba Mwala? We got it, or we still having difficulty? Okay. We're going to hold off on the song while we fix the technical difficulties, because we're flexible, right? So before we get to the big moment, I have something I have to do. Last year, when I stepped down as director of the Pyramid Performing Theater, I had an opportunity to thank those students who had been part of my last senior company, who had traveled all over the place with me and till wee hours in the morning and piled up in a van. And I didn't get a chance to thank Maya because she wasn't graduating last year. So Maya, I want you to stand up for a minute. Maya was also part of that company, and she's been instrumental in helping us make a smooth transition in leadership in the performing theater. And she's been really there for Mama Joy to help her when she needed her. And we appreciate you. We want you to know that we've noticed. And keep dancing. Keep dancing. And thank you. And now, my lovely Taifa Mpya. I know at times that I've been really hard on you as your advisor, but it's only because I knew that you were on the edge of greatness. And I knew that you had in you all that you needed to do to get where you are today. So, Hassan, you have everything you need in you to be who you choose to be. Chris, we didn't know Chris could talk for 3 years. But he spoke to us through his art. And the sound of it was loud and thunderous. And so we know you have a lot to say. And we're looking for what you have to say. Muntasir, you survived the valley. Claim your mountaintop experience. Malcolm, keep being brilliant. Keep being humble. Now, I was one of the few students I've ever known who's ever had to come to my office who readily said, I was wrong, let me go apologize. That's a sign of true manhood. Maya, the spirit of the dance is the soul of our people. So as you're designing buildings and places for people to live, keep that spirit alive. Kaya, the spirit of a poet, soul of a warrior. Never be ashamed of who you are, because the spirit of the people is in you, and the voice of the people is in your pen. Desiree, I don't know what we do without you to keep us laughing. But it's that freedom in your spirit that's going to allow you to stand before people as a reporter and tell the truth. Because so often we're given the false truth. And so we're waiting for you to stand there and tell the people the truth. Enya, you just came to us this year. And like sunshine, you brightened our day. You have such a peaceful, warm, and loving spirit, and it has been an honor getting to know you. Mamas and Babas, brothers and sisters, I present to you Class of 2002. I say, once you take this step, there's no turning back. We expect great things of you. Do something good and great for the people. In your mound games. Desiree Brown. Haya Karamoko. Maya Bledsoe. Malcolm X. Nabawi. Mutasir McClellan. Christopher Wade. Hassan Stone. Moms, daughters, brothers, and sisters, the graduates of 2002.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mama Joy. I have the honor and the privilege of giving you another mini speech, so please bear with me. You're coming to the other side, and things look very, very different on the other side. And I learned that this year. This is my first year in the classroom, my first year as the director of the PPT, and I have 3 new gray hairs. I know you all have seen me on it. It's been such a challenge and a learning experience, and it's definitely a labor of love. You are charged with the responsibility. You have the responsibility of coming back and giving back to your community, to the school, and to the children that follow you. It's not something I designed. It's not something that I planned to do. It's not something that I really wanted to do. But I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I've learned. These are my latest lessons. And I pray that you meditate on these things and that you consider them and that you internalize them and use them, because we congratulate you. We've given you praise for all of your accomplishments, but you know that it's only just done. And the challenges that you face, they're great. Righteousness has its rewards, but it's not a popular thing. And you're going to be going to school with a lot of people who are going to be pressuring you to do what is popular. And of course, we want you to have fun, but you have to always, always, always do the righteous thing. It's a choice that you make. A lot of times, you have to stand by yourself. And you have to choose. You have to be dedicated enough to choose to stand by yourself. You have to choose to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because you're not always going to have somebody patting you on your back. Righteousness is something that is so absolutely necessary, because there are principalities and powers that are designed to destroy people. They are out there and they are waiting for you. So you have to be willing and dedicated to yourself,
Another thing that I've learned is that as I watch nature, and I was sharing this with a couple of the sisters as we were on our retreat for Wright the Passage. If you look at a bird, the birds get up in the morning and they are just birds. They don't choose to fly. They just do what God has designed for them to do. They don't have the choice to defy what they were created to do. And I would encourage you to be very sensitive to God. Allow Him to lead you and to direct your paths. Because when you begin to pull against the grain, that's when you begin to create all these different roads that are the exact opposite of what you are supposed to do. A spider just weaves the web. Just weave the web, children. You have to just get lost, and that's what I've done lately. Just get lost in what God has purposed for you to do. And it won't be so hard. And when it is hard, you know who to fall back on. And so, I welcome you to the Alumni Association. Those of us who are in the Alumni Association, we're close to your age, and there's nothing that can replace the wisdom of your parents and the elders, and we do advise that you always, always seek them. But we are here for you. We know exactly what you're going through, and we want to make ourselves available to you so that you know for that you have to be friends. That's right.
Will you please stand for the benediction? Before we leave, it's in our tradition to present and acknowledge the rising seniors for the coming school year. So I'm going to ask the rising seniors, the class of 2003, to wave your hand. And I want to remind you, downstairs in the multi-purpose room, we prepared a reception for you, and that is where you will be able to greet our graduates and to all of you, sisters in particular, the path lies before you. Let's bow our heads. Gracious God, creator of the universe and all that is and all that was and all that will be, we thank you. We thank you for your presence. We thank you for the gift of these children. We thank you for allowing them to come through us at this time and for this season. We ask you that as we release them into the world, as we release them to do what it is that you have destined for them to do, that you would stand with them. That they would know that their ancestors stand with them, that they would know that their elders stand with them, that their parents stand with them, that their brothers and sisters stand with them, and that we are all cheering for them to go forward and do something great for the people. Gracious God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time. We thank you for Mommy Imani and the vision of Aisha Shule and W.E.B. DuBois Academy. We thank you for the parents who had the forethought and the judgment to place their children in our care. We thank you for the Walimu, for the teachers who work and labor day after day to give all that they have, all that you have placed in them to these children that you have placed in our care. And finally, Father, we ask that as we release them into the world, that they will be under your care, that you will watch over them and protect them, and they will indeed rise to the challenge of doing something great for the people. Amen.
think that's French. I'm gonna take a picture of the picture. This is the crowd. Check them out. Look at them. Everybody's busy. Well, you straight now, you can get the right thing.
Cash me out too?
What?
Nice order. What y'all doing, man?
Man, I should be getting paid.
Dinner now too.
Words of wisdom. And all that other stuff. We up out of here. O2, Seco forever. Me and my brother X over here.
This how we do it. Y'all said this how we graduate. This how we graduate. This how we graduate. Hey, I already know.
Now you should get a job so you can do this regularly. You know what I'm saying?
You know, we get money without, just sitting on our
and I
butts.
just loan mama some money. That's how I get down.
We should get some working money.
You talking to me? Don't say that on camera.
Right. This is that. You get my camera out there. Get that camera out my face.
Yeah, I'll ask that one.
I really like getting them mama shots when they was talking about mama's baby.
Hey, that's right.
Those are some of the best shots when they talk about mama's baby and then you get them mama shots. Here's some more mama shots. Money, what?
I'm taking my stuff.
Oh, you finally paying her back?
Don't take, yeah, take that.
You finally paying her back?
Not yet.
Okay.
When I get my money, I owe her like.
All right. Baba Mwando being Baba Mwando. Mama Samara, you show no sharp day. Look at all this wonderful finery, Sister Love. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Got distracted. I'm telling you.
All those
I got.
I said I felt like it was paparazzi.
Well, the good thing about video is I don't have to wait for y'all to pose. And then I got all these wonderful mama shots, when they talk about mama's babies and you get the mama and mama's boo-hoo and then all. I got plenty mama shots. Pardon? Now, if I'm in your face, so don't say anything you don't want me to hear. Excuse me. Oh, well, look at what we got here. A real live Boniswa. Some more mama shots. She trying to mess up my camera.
This is Uncle Moki. Turn around.
Dig it.
Moki,
Dig
this
it.
is like my son.
Check it out. See what we got going on here.
He's got Uncle Moki on.
We got mama shots, baby shots, proud uncle shots, everything else. Dang, every time I go to get the baby's face, I get the back of his head. Let me see. All right. That's right.
Yeah.
having a good old time talking about girl stuff. Yes, I know.
Don't talk to her like that.
I know you know all about it. That's right.
Words of wisdom from the Alumni Association.
No, it's on the tip of my tongue, so I was thinking about it earlier. Know who you are and where you came from.
That's Ivy. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you tomorrow.
What?
Mama, I wish you should have been there.
Okay, what we got over? Words of wisdom from Miss Brown.
Miss Brown, words of wisdom.
I was thinking, oh, okay.
Words of wisdom.
Yes, ma'am.
Was a long time coming, and I like what that man said. Today is a celebration. Now starts the whole situation.
That's right. The real work. All of this real work.
Words of wisdom from my dad.
Yes, sir.
Always as usual. Never be a weakest link.
That's right. That's right. So I hope she's able to use some of that physics we tried to teach.
Yeah. First, second, and third law. That's our physics.
Grandma, any words from my grandma? Any words?
Yes, ma'am.
She went beyond my expectations.
Oh,
Beyond.
good. Very good.
All my expectations.
Outstanding.
Make sure the light is on.
Outstanding. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. I got old crybaby Monica on.
You better just put it for box to news.
Congratulations, man.
All right, all right. All right. Yes, sir.
Yes, brother, congratulations.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I caught a boo-hooing. I got the evidence. Yeah, boo-hooing. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. Look at, you see these people right here? This is my family. Get out the way. Let's get
You have to film me. If I have to cry to get filmed, move, Martha.
Ghetto-ness, I'm telling you.
There's more than one way to skin this cat. How's that? Now.
Hey, my turn. Baba MZ. If I do have to cry to get on camera, all this W.E.B was crying like a little punk. And shit. Yeah, open it, Baba MZ. Open it. Open it. Open it. Baba MZ, they gonna open. Does it work with his clothes? I wasn't crying. Baba MZ, open it. It's not working, Monkey. He closed the thing. It ain't working. Baba MZ, is it working? Is it on?
So can I put the finger in the camera?
Can I, for real? We'll show up.